Got one, guys. First cast. You're kidding me. Got one, guys. Got one, guys. Feels better. What is good, everybody? Welcome to Cross Country Bank Angler. Today I'm out at this kind of trashy looking area right now. I think maybe this was a former homeless encampment or something. But anyway, there's a lake here. It's a lake that I've fished a couple of times. Haven't had a ton of success out here in the past, but we've caught some bass and bluegill here before, and I've never really tried it this time of year. So I was just curious to kind of see how the lake, if it's any different this time of year. I generally have to go kind of finesse here at this lake. It's one of the clearer lakes in the area, and even now it's pretty clear. It looks like we have maybe 3-4 feet of visibility, which is pretty clear for around me, at least. Yeah, most of the lakes are not clear right now. They're actually pretty dirty, but this one has stayed clear. Kind of chilly today for the time of year. It's late March, and the high today is like in the lower to mid 50s. So the fish could be kind of turned off right now. No clouds in the sky. We do have some wind, but yeah, it could be a tough day. It could be kind of cold front conditions. So, like I said, those finesse approaches might be important today. But we're gonna find out. We're gonna try a few different lures out. Maybe some things that I really haven't been able to use at some of the dirtier lakes. And yeah, just see if we can get anything to bite out here in early spring. So with that being said, you never know until you throw. So let's go. Alright guys, so like I said, we've got clear water conditions today. I see some wood in the lake as well, a couple of just sunken logs and stuff. So we're going to try to avoid that hard cover today with the lure I've got tied on right now. This is a lipless crankbait. I had some luck with a lipless earlier this spring at a different lake, so I'm kind of curious to see if it'll work today. We do have some wind, pretty strong wind, so that's kind of, I'm hoping that's going to be in our favor today. This is a model. It's Academy Sports, that store. We just got one around me recently. It's the H2O Express, I think is what their brand's called. This is called the Rattling T. I think they kind of I don't know if they sort of changed up the look of their bait recently, so I don't know if you can actually get this exact one anymore, but I like this chrome when it's windy out and sunny out, so we'll see if anything wants to eat this out here. Just gonna try to cover some water to get started. Got one, guys. First cast. You're kidding me. First cast. Could be a bad luck, guys, but there's a fish. All right, buddy, hold on. Okay, we got it. You're pissed off at us. There we go. All right, guys, first cast. And we got this little chunker here. He's not big. Maybe 12, maybe 11. Fairly stocky looking though. He's been feeding up. Probably a little male. Thank you, fish. Genuinely shocked right now, guys, to get one on the first cast. All right, hopefully not just like a random aberration of a fish here, and we can actually catch a few more on the lipless. Thanks, buddy. Let's get this guy back in the water. Pretty little fish. Got one, guys. Feels pretty good. All right, fish number 2 on the ultralight setup, guys. Tossing a little jerk bait. Let's go. There he is, guys. Similar to the last one, maybe a little bit smaller, 10 or 11. Fought well on the ultralight setup though, of course. All right, fish number 2 on the jerkbait. Let me show you the lure I was using there. All right, see you, buddy. So the jerkbait that I'm using, guys, let's look at it one more time. Here's the Eurotackle Z Spender, 1/8 ounce jerkbait. It's kind of a clear, ghosty pattern on it. And that was the first fish I caught with it. I've thrown it a few times without catching anything, but it was good to get something on it. Very finessey little jerkbait here. All right, people. So on the spinning rod, switched over to another kind of jerkbait type lure here. This is the Rebel jointed minnow. Dives about a foot or 2. Got that chrome black back. That's kind of why I chose it, because of that chrome. This is a floating model. May switch over to a suspending lure if this one doesn't work, which I don't know. When I first started using this thing, I caught quite a few fish on it, bass mostly. But the last few times I've tried it, I haven't gotten any bites, so don't have a ton of confidence in it right now. But I just thought this could be one of those days when it might work. Got a pretty nice action. It looks good in the water. That's a fish, guys. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, guys. Stay hooked, buddy. All right, fish number 3, guys. On the Rebel jointed. There he is. Honestly shocked that worked. That was only a few casts, and we got a fish. I think this is the smallest of the day, probably 10 inches or so. But hey, it's another fish. It's been a little while since we caught anything. See you, buddy. Got one, guys. Feels better. Oh yeah. That's the biggest of the day, I think. Dude, the Rebel jointed. It's getting it done. Hooked him in the nose there. Got some red on his lips. There we go. Whoa, hold on, fish. Let me take a look at you. pretty colors on these guys. They're a little washed out, but the markings do show up, you know, in this clear water. So, all right, guys, that's like a 12-incher. Not catching anything huge today, but that one felt good on the spinning setup. All right, thank you, bud. Let's let this guy go. Get a nice release. See a fish. All right, guys, the Rebel jointed. He's getting some fish. Let's do it. Let's go. Love to see it, guys. It's been probably 3 years since I caught a fish on this. So glad to be able to bust it out and have it see some action, you know, see some success. This is definitely one of those lures that I kind of started losing faith in. But I mean, I like the action on it. It's, you know, got that kind of S swim to it, almost like a swim bait when it's got with that joint. Very distinctive action. Not a lot of people really throw these jointed minnows very much anymore, it doesn't seem like. So fish in this place may not have really seen this type of lure before. But for the most part, yeah, you can just do a fairly slow, steady wind, and you know, every now and then just give it a little twitch, make it jump a little bit. All right, people, gonna go ahead and call it a day here. Yeah, went out. I think this is the third or fourth time I've been to this little lake. And, you know, every time I come back, you know, it's never been an amazing spot. But every time I come back, I kind of hope that I'm gonna learn a little bit more about how the fish in here behave. And, you know, the lures that are can work. So like I said at the beginning of the video, you know, it tends to be more of a finessey lake, clear water. The fish generally don't seem that aggressive most of the time. But we were able to catch some on moving lures today. Got one on the first cast with the H2O Express lipless, which we promptly lost. So yeah, you know, sometimes that first cast curse, you know, some people would say, you know, it's bad luck if you catch a fish on the first cast. I don't know if I believe that or not, but it definitely, you know, I was hoping it was going to be a good sign, and it didn't really turn out to be a good sign. First time I was really able to catch any fish on like a moving type lure today, you know, a power fishing lure, you know, something you're kind of casting and retrieving pretty quickly. It was also cool to see get that Rebel jointed to catch a few. Got one on the little Euro tackle jerkbait as well. The conditions weren't fantastic today. You know, it was kind of cold. Maybe that sort of made the fish a little less active than they would have been on like a warm day. You know, I may come back here one time in the summer just to sort of, you know, check in on it, but it's never been that great. It produces a few average sized bass and maybe some bluegill here and there, and that's about it. Yeah, I can tell this lake gets some fishing pressure as well, just judging by all the bait containers and lure boxes and stuff. I don't get, why do people have to take their lure in the box out to the lake? Why don't you unbox the lure at home so you're not leaving garbage everywhere? It doesn't make sense. Yeah, it's a shame how some fishermen, how little respect they really have for the environment that they're using and enjoying when you go out and fish. But anyway, not going to rant about that. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this kind of content, definitely hit the subscribe button. You know, we got weekly bank fishing videos here at Cross Country Bank Angler. So with that being said, Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time.